Welcome back to BaldHeaded Metal, guys, and welcome back to another review, and this time around for Arch Enemy, the new album, Deceivers. Um, Coming into this album, many fans will know that who've seen my reactions to the band, is that I really love the band. I love Arch Enemy, and I've been with them basically from the Wages of Sin and on. And I love that style of melodic death metal, where it's heavy, but it's also has some beautiful melodies to it. And I've expressed my opinion about how the band has been shifting away from death metal and more to the melodic side, and more almost like a mainstream kind of popular sound that it's been creating over the years. And there's some fans that loved it, some fans that don't love it. I am somewhere in between on the spectrum. I've also expressed my opinion about Angela and Alyssa as vocalists, that I love Angela's style more. But Alyssa really comes into her own in these past couple albums that she's been with the band, and she is a badass. She kicks ass on this album. She really shows the breadth of her skill here as well. Even if I prefer Angela, I think she is a good vocalist for this band. Now, my main problem with this band could also be, for some people, its biggest strength, is that it tries to cast the widest net in terms of its music. Because there's some really heavy songs like, we'll say, The Watcher, Deceiver, or something, Exiled from Earth, those couple of songs, really heavy. Other songs are very melodic, and there's almost like, doesn't even feel like a death metal song at all, or melodic death metal song at all. It feels like something that could belong almost like on a power metal record, just change the vocals up a bit. And that element for me was the biggest push away, because it just tries to capture too many fans and tries to satisfy these Arch Enemy fans, and I think they end up kind of not really committing to a particular vision for the band and where they want to take it and how they want to progress. For example, like Amorphous. Amorphous has been progressively going into this more melodic area and away from death metal, and it's like, hey, we're fine with that. This is who we are. This is what we want to do. We're not the same people we were 10 years ago, which I still think is the case with Arch Enemy, but they're still trying to capture, perhaps they've heard criticism from fans where they don't like the more melodic nature of the music. And I think it's the biggest problem of the album. It doesn't know exactly what it wants to be. But that being said, for those people don't mind the shift in tone, I think you're really gonna enjoy yourself of what you hear here. It's a very safe album from Arch Enemy. I'm gonna say that right off the bat. It's a very expected. You know what you're gonna get from this album. It's not gonna like blow your mind like, oh my god, I've never heard this from Arch Enemy. But it's a solid record, and I think it is a thing that happens to any band who's been doing it for long enough. First of all, you've heard their music over the past, decade and more, and you've got used to their style. Like, how much more can they innovate and change? Look at Iron Maiden, Judas Priest. They're producing albums that are expected at this point. They don't really shock people with their music, but it's just solid records. And I think this Arch Enemy album is in that realm. It's just a solid album with good music, good, well-written music. If a little bit on cheesy side with its lyrics, cheesy side with its presentation, and a big focus on sex appeal, which with either you like it or don't, and I happen to be on a spectrum where I don't like it. And I say that because I've been listening, I don't want to come off as a metal elitist, but I've been listening to music, for whatever amount of years, and really, I dive deep into music. It's a very spiritual thing for me, and I look more at the content and how good something is. I don't care about the presentation. There's many times where I don't even look at the music videos before I start a channel. I didn't look at music videos. I didn't react to them. I just went straight for the music. And if the music captured me, the lyrics were next. If the lyrics captured me, then I would look at their what they look like, and I'll be interested about the background and everything like that. And here, this has become a really big focus on that image of the band. And sometimes they almost come off as power metal musicians in the way they look and the way they act, rather than like melodic death metal. But that aside, again, the music is great. It's not gonna be for me personally, a completely this like really memorable album. Like the past couple albums I mentioned, like Doomsday Machine, Wages of Sin. To me, those are memorable albums that I come back to yearly. This one, I feel myself coming back to, but it's gonna be just another record among some really great stuff come out already this year. And the competition is just so high, and there's so many interesting things and different bands that are coming out doing things that either never been done before, or to a technical level that's just really, really proficient. Then it becomes like, this seems a little bit, I would say, basic in some ways. Despite what kind of skills they express on their solos and their guitar playing. There's just bands out there that are doing things that appeal to me more as a metal fan, or as a metal fan that's really into the music. But it does appeal to a more, like I said, wider audience. Maybe some people who are not really into death metal will be checking out this band. I'm more interested to see kind of from fans what you guys thought of it yourselves. I know there's going to be hardcore fans that's just going to love everything that Arch Enemy produces and will call me dumb or something like that for even having an opinion that's somehow criticizing this band. And there's going to be people who just absolutely shit on the band and say that they suck. I fall somewhere in between. I've come to a place in my life where I don't really harshly criticize bands anymore because they're just doing what they want to do, unless it's just horrible music. And here, it's a well-oiled machine, and you're either on board or you're not. Definitely, guys, check it out if you are an Arch Enemy fan. If you like really melodic death metal and you don't mind softer vocals, I think this is going to be your thing. But I feel like if you're a hardcore death metal fan or you want some kind of innovation, it's not going to really scratch your itch much. That's kind of my hard opinion. And that being said, I'm going to be waiting from you guys to hear your opinion on the album and where you agree, where you disagree with me, because I like creating conversations around music. Even that's why I do the reviews, the interviews, and obviously the reactions. So we can create interesting conversations around the music that we all love, whether we agree or disagree with one another. And guys, make sure to enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe out there and keep it metal.